Have you ever stood completely alone in an empty space, yet felt a sudden, undeniable prickle on the back of your neck? It is a deeply ingrained human instinct to scan our surroundings for threats we cannot quite see. Along the coast of Central California, the Santa Lucia Mountains stretch for 140 miles. It is a beautiful, deeply isolated stretch of land where the mist regularly swallows the ridges, creating an environment that feels entirely disconnected from the rest of the world. For centuries, hikers and travelers navigating these ridges have reported encountering entities known as the Dark Watchers. Witnesses describe towering, featureless humanoid shadows, sometimes standing up to 10 feet tall, silently observing them from distant peaks before vanishing without a trace. The human brain is a pattern recognition machine. Through pareidolia, our minds instinctively organize ambiguous visual data, like jagged rocks, into human figures. Add extreme heat, sleep deprivation, and total isolation, and that shadow play warps into towering hallucinations. Yet the Dark Watchers resist being easily dismissed as mere traveler fatigue. Their presence was documented and believed by highly credible observers, including the revered American author John Steinbeck and his family, who researched and wrote about these entities extensively. A 10-foot shadow on a distant ridge is deeply unsettling. However, a passive observer that disappears when approached is the lowest possible tier of paranormal encounter. The real danger begins when the distance between the dead and the living collapses. While the Dark Watchers keep to the periphery, other entities actively seek out human interaction in the middle of heavily populated cities, bridging the gap between the ethereal and the physical. In Chicago, a spirit known as Resurrection Mary has been reported since the 1930s as a distinctly physical presence. She is often seen wandering Archer Avenue, accepting rides from unsuspecting motorists, and has even been spotted inside local ballrooms, engaging in close, physical dances with the living. Witnesses who have shared a car or a dance floor with Mary consistently report vivid sensory details. She is described as charming but unusually quiet, possessing a remarkably pale complexion and feeling unnervingly cold to the touch before abruptly vanishing into thin air. Down the coast in South Carolina, the residents of Pawleys Island experience a different kind of close proximity encounter. Here, a wandering figure known as the Gray Man frequently materializes through the fog, stepping directly into the paths of locals. Though the Gray Man himself causes no direct harm, his appearance serves as a direct warning of catastrophic real-world violence. He manifests shortly before devastating hurricanes strike the coast, predicting the splintered homes and total ruin left in a severe storm's wake. This ability to affect the physical world extends beyond predicting weather. In 1976, police responding to a call near Resurrection Cemetery found two of the heavy iron gate bars violently warped apart, bearing the distinct marks of scorched handprints burned directly into the metal. Bending iron gates requires immense kinetic force. If these entities possess the physical strength to warp metal and the ability to interact with us directly, the question shifts from whether they exist to what happens when they decide to use that strength against us. The most dangerous entities do not wait in the wilderness or on lonely roads. They invade the perceived safety of the home, directing their kinetic force with deliberate malice. In 1989, a young mother named Jackie Hernandez moved into a house in the San Pedro neighborhood of Los Angeles. Within months, her family was subjected to a violent, relentless home invasion by an unseen force. The phenomena inside the San Pedro house rapidly escalated from moving objects to severe physical manifestations. Witnesses watched as a dark, blood-like substance inexplicably oozed from the walls, and Jackie herself reported being confronted by the floating, disembodied head of an old man in her attic. When a team of parapsychologists arrived to intervene, the entity turned its aggression on them. During one investigation, an invisible force snatched a camera from a researcher and later physically attacked him, strangling him and leaving him hung from a protruding attic nail by a clothesline cord. This modern violence mirrors a deeply rooted historical precedent. In rural Tennessee between 1817 and 1821, The Bell family endured a nearly identical siege by an entity known as the Bell Witch, which spent years physically assaulting the family's children and striking adults while they slept. The Bell Witch case culminated in an act of lethal terror. The entity reportedly left a strange vial of poison in the patriarch's bedroom, actively claimed credit for his subsequent death, and was heard gleefully singing drinking songs over the crowd during his funeral. These cases shatter our most ingrained illusion of safety. They demonstrate that if a malicious entity breaches your home, a locked door provides absolutely zero protection against invisible physical violence. Breaking your lease does not guarantee your safety either. After the trauma in San Pedro, Jackie Hernandez fled to a trailer park hundreds of miles away, only to find that the banging, the lights, and the violent poltergeist had actively followed her to her new residence. Skeptics rightly point out that the most definitive proof in these extreme cases remains elusive. The laboratory that allegedly analyzed the blood-like ooze in San Pedro refused to be publicly named, and the foundational manuscript detailing the Bell family's terror has never been independently verified. Yet the lack of paper trails sits in stark contrast to the sheer volume of independent eyewitnesses. Multiple seasoned investigators in San Pedro experienced severe physical trauma, and hundreds of visitors to the Bell farm reported terrifying first-hand encounters with the entity. This phenomenon, often referred to as poltergeist attachment, suggests that certain entities do not haunt physical structures. Instead, they latch on to specific individuals, effectively turning the victim into the haunted location, regardless of where they move. American folklore reveals a terrifying reality. Geographic distance and physical barriers provide no sanctuary. If a violent, unseen force targets an individual, it effectively bypasses every modern defense we have.